are both teachers of this class that we're going to talk about, so we just want to tell you a little bit about it. How many of you have heard of prediabetes? So we know that 86 million people in the United States have prediabetes. That's 1 out of 3. 9 out of 10 people don't even know that they have it. So easily we can look around a crowded room and see, hey, 1 out of 3 people have prediabetes. Without intervention, 15 to 30% will go on to develop type 2 diabetes. Who in here knows somebody, a family member, somebody close that has type 2 diabetes? You know, it's not the best thing that you want to have, so if we can do something to prevent it, this is where we want to take action. So what is prediabetes? It is having a blood sugar that is higher than normal, but that is not quite having diabetes. It can lead to heart disease, stroke, diabetes itself, contribute to having high blood pressure, other health problems. But the great thing is that it can be reversed. Does anybody know how you get diagnosed with having prediabetes? Okay. So your doctor can run some blood tests. That's the number one way. That's having a fasting blood sugar or a blood sugar that you'd have in the morning between 100 and 125. Having a hemoglobin A1C between 5.7 and 6.4. Has anyone heard of an A1C before? Their doctor might have run it. It's a 3-month average of your blood sugar, and it's kind of the gold standard of diagnosing prediabetes. So there are certain risk factors with developing prediabetes that has to do with your weight, your activity level, your age. If you've had gestational diabetes, which is diabetes when you're pregnant, a history of having a baby that's more than 9 pounds can put you at risk for developing diabetes. So what we'd like you to do now is to take that risk test that you have in front of you. Just go through and see if you have a risk. If you score greater than 5 or 5 or higher, that puts you at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. If you're watching this video, we've sent out a link that you can click on and fill out the survey as well. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes to fill it out. If you need a pen, we have some more. Anybody else need a pen? And if you ever want to ask even your family members to fill out a survey like this, or someone you want to ask, you can go to doihaveprediabetes.org and just take it right there. You can print one off there, or you can just take it online. So that's another resource. So if you scored 5 or higher, that means you would qualify for the class that we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. Because the great thing is that about prediabetes is we can do something about it. The program that we're going to talk about tells us that if we can lose 5 to 7% of our weight and be physically active more than 150 minutes per week, we can reduce our risk of developing type 2 diabetes by 58%. And I personally think that's a pretty huge number. So we can do something about it. So when we ask, what is 5 to 7% of our weight? So if someone weighs 200 pounds, does anybody know what 5% would be? Losing 10 pounds. So that's a realistic number for a lot of people to put into perspective. We have had people lose, quite a bit more, but the goal of the class is, to lose 5 to 7%. And it may not seem like 10 pounds is so much, but that can make a big difference on our body. So we're going to watch just a few minutes, short little video, and Karlie's going to get it going. Hopefully. We hope.
I'm watching it.
I think I'm pulled in a lot of different directions. I always thought about trying to be in good health and doing the healthy things, but that didn't always happen with my schedule. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I work full time. Between getting her to school and getting to work myself and her extracurriculars, it's quite busy.
I'm gonna give you these numbers.
You're at work all day, not eating right, not getting enough exercise, not sleeping. After a while, that takes its toll. I kind of knew something wasn't right.
Come on in.
Hey Dion, how are you?
A few years ago, I went into the doctor. They drew blood at the annual checkup. They checked for everything. And my doctor told me I had prediabetes. I realized I was in trouble. But he was very comforting. He's like, look, this is fixable.
The number of sugar grams.
My doctor explained to me that this is something that I could manage with diet and exercise, and that I didn't have to take a pill for it. It was good to know where I stood. Angie, ready to walk? You gotta make sure you're getting exercise, and he stressed it doesn't have to be running a marathon. It could be, just simple things. Use what you have around you. When I'm at work, I have a coworker. We walk the perimeter of our campus. When it's too hot or too cold, or if it's raining, we go upstairs to one of the hallways. It's a good time to just kind of unwind and de-stress for a few minutes. We always make sure we monitor our time and our distance, and we usually do 1 to 2 miles. Around the same time that I was told that I have prediabetes, my mom received a similar diagnosis. It was good for us to be able to work together on our food and meal planning. It worked out for us to have each other to lean on.
Can you look in the fridge and get Granny an onion?
It's important that my daughter know how to make healthy food choices even at a young age. My daughter means everything to me. She makes me want to eat better and exercise so that I'm able to be there for her. The fact that I was diagnosed with prediabetes has made me think twice about the choices that I make. I can control this, my exercise, what I eat, and it worked. I'm putting the right things in my body, and I feel good. I have lots of energy. The bottom line is, if you know you want to be healthy, you want to live, you have to do the things that make your body respond. There's nothing to be afraid about. Prediabetes is a condition that's reversible and completely manageable. The future's bright.
All right, so I'm Carlie, as Pam mentioned. I'm an educator at the health department. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what the class entails. As you see from the video, you know, prediabetes is preventable. We can change it through diet and exercise, and what we put in our mouth, how we move our body. And so that's what we want to do. We want to promote that, and that's exactly what the class does. So Pam's going to pull up this slide here in just 1 second, I hope. Maybe not. Oh, there it is. Thanks for bearing with our technical difficulties. So the goal of the class is to lose 5 to 7% of your body weight, like Pam mentioned, which is, you know, for a 200-pound individual, that would be about 10 pounds. That is a really realistic goal. The purpose of the class isn't like a fad diet. You know, we're not going to put you on extreme calorie restrictions, have you do specific workouts. It's a lifestyle change, and so it's going to be things that you choose to implement in your life. So the class is a year-long program, which sometimes scares people away at first, because a year-long commitment is, you know, some people are like, that's a big commitment. I don't have time for that. I have work, I have kids, I have a family, I have school, I have a variety of different things that you're doing, correct? But for the first 6 months, we meet weekly. So we're actually starting a class in Tremont on the 26th of February, and in a couple months, we're going to start one here in Brigham City. So for the first 6 months, we meet for 1 hour every week. And then for the last 6 months, it tapers down, and we meet once a month for an hour for 6 months. So really, you know, with time, it tapers down. And it's interesting, a lot of the participants in the class, you know, they like going more frequently. So when we go from going weekly to monthly, they kind of have a little bit of anxiety about that, because they're like, I need this support. I need the support of weighing in each week, of the class members that they've become friends with, the support to help them reach their goals. Thanks. So like I mentioned, the goal is to lose 5 to 7% of your body weight, and then also to exercise 150 minutes of physical activity each week. So in the class, we don't actually, you know, plan meals out or, you know, do physical activity all the time in class, but we help you brainstorm ways that fit into your daily lives. So we talk about nutrition, we talk about what we can eat, what are healthy options, what are good foods to be eating, what maybe are foods we should avoid. We also talk about how to eat in moderation, because we all know, you know, you're never not going to eat sugar again, or you're never not going to have, you know, cake on your birthday or for special occasions. So we talk about moderation and how to fit all foods into your diet. We also talk about sleep and stress and how to live a full, balanced, healthy lifestyle. So it's not, you know, just food or just physical activity. It's well-rounded, a healthy lifestyle. It's about incorporating, you know, a 15-minute walk like in the video. You know, they went for a walk during their lunch break. Implementing things like that. So we actually have had a class here before last year. We actually just finished up this past, I think it was last week actually, was our last class. And we've had some individuals in the classes who had a lot of success. And so actually one of them is here with us. And I asked Lori if she would be willing to share her experience with the class, what she enjoyed from the class, how she benefited from the class. So she's going to take a minute or two. And we thank you for doing that, Lori. So here she comes up.
Thanks, Lori. Sorry. I hate speakers. I hate talking in front of people, too. I did take the class over the last year. I found it very beneficial. Every week they talk about a little bit different things. It can be food, it can be exercise. They give you different programs. They show you all different kinds of websites that you can go to. They give you all sorts of information. I have a whole binder. It's amazing. I really enjoyed the class. Karlie was amazing. She was my teacher. I did meet my 5 to 7% weight loss goal. Plus, I have increased my exercise tremendously just due to the class. And having that commitment and also accountability to go in there and get weighed in every week, you know, it's a little bit embarrassing. But you do have that accountability, and it does make you strive to do, you know, what you're supposed to do. And doing it for a year, it makes you strive every week, all year long, so it makes you learn that behavior by doing it.
Thank you. Lori did do awesome in the class. She's one who, you know, what you put into the class is what you're going to get out of the class. Lori was one who put in a lot of effort. You know, she participated in class, but it's not for that hour it's going to change your life. It's what you do the other time of the week, right? And so Lori really did implement what she had learned, and she had success, and as well as a lot of other of the participants in the class. I always like to share one specific success story. In our very first cohort that we've done over in Logan, so we asked, somebody had met their 5 to 7% weight loss goal, and we asked him what his biggest success was, why he, you know, what he liked best about the class. And it's interesting because he didn't say like, I have more energy, or I feel like I look better, or he said, I don't have to hold my breath when I bend down to tie my shoes anymore. And, you know, it's the little things in life that really matter. You know, and so he found that as a success because doing simple daily things in his life, like tying your shoes or bending down to pick something off the floor, wasn't as strenuous as on his body as it was before. So like I mentioned, we're having a class in February. It's February 26th. It's going to be in Tree Mountain at 5:15 to 6:15. We may move that back to 5:30 to work with people's work schedules a little bit better. So if you want to sign up, this is how you sign up for the class. A lot of you just took that risk assessment. If you're watching this via, you know, later, you can write your information on the risk assessment paper, your name, your phone number, your email address, and come talk to us after the presentation today. Or we will send our email address out and contact information where you can contact us at a later date. Give us a call or email, say you're interested in the class, and we can get you signed up. When we start another class, I think in future months, we will send an email out to have emailed to all of you when the Brigham City class is going to be. So it might be a little more convenient if you live here in town. It won't be for a couple of months, though. So that's it for our presentation. Is there any questions? Yes?
Do you have a time frame on the Brigham City class?
You know, we're March or April. So
What time of day? Is that going to be evening too?
we have them in the evening. It will most likely, I think that one we have scheduled for a Wednesday evening from 5:30 to 6:30. So, is question in the back? Is it available to our spouses as well? Yes, thank you for asking that. So please share with your friends and families. The only thing is they have to qualify for the class. So if they take the risk assessment, score greater than a 5. One thing we didn't touch on. Oh, I forgot to repeat the question. The question was, thank you, was can spouses or family members participate as well? And the answer to the question is yes, they can. So just make sure they score a 5 on the risk assessment. Or the other way to qualify, which I don't know if we actually even touched, is through blood work, so a referral from your doctor. If your glucose, fasting glucose is between 100 and 125, or your A1C, which Pam explained, is between 5.7 and 6.4, you qualify for the class as well. So thank you for those questions. Any other questions? Oh, so the cost of the class. This is going to be free, and most likely the one in Brigham City will be free. It will be free as well. That being said, as far as funding goes and grant money that we're running on, we are going to have to start charging for the class soon. So the low end of this class would be worth about $200, and which is a really great deal for a class that's, you know, this extensive, a year-long program where you come in weekly and then monthly. You know, to meet with a dietitian for a 1-hour session is usually, I don't know, Pam, is usually $50 to $100 for a 1-hour one-time session. So we are trying to make it as affordable as possible. So, but this class in Tremont and Brigham City will be free. So any other questions? Awesome, well, that's it. And once again, if you're interested and you are here today, please write your email address, phone number on the risk assessment and bring it to Pam or I after. And then email if you're watching this at a later date. Thank you.